Hey guys, Beach Plumbing here. Today I'm here with my 2015 American Standard Allbrook urinals. So for those of y'all don't know, I have 7 Allbrook urinals. I have 4 of this generation, 2 of the previous generation with the circular trap, and then a first generation Allbrook which has the Gothic logo. So this came from the same place as both of my Color Dexters. I really am curious to know what kind of building these came out of, but other than that, this also had, just like the Dexter does, that has that ring in there from all the stuff sitting in there. I just went ahead and cleaned it up. I didn't get underneath the rim because you can't see it, but for the most part I got all of it out of the bowl. This urinal is decent. I honestly think the previous generation design is much better than this in many ways, but they did keep the same trapway, which is cool. But the reason I prefer the previous generation over these is because one, there's a lot of water as it siphons out that still sits at the bottom. Unlike the other circular trap one, all the water drains out of the bowl as it siphons, so that kind of helps get rid of everything. Another thing is it has a concealed siphon jet. This one has an exposed one, and like a majority of the time they aren't aligned properly and they kind of shoot up or to the right or to the left a little bit, which can result in a sloppy flush. Sometimes they don't siphon. Another thing another thing about the new ones compared to the old ones or the previous gen is they removed the little jets here. I like those jets a lot because they sprayed up the side of the bowl to clean it, because when I flush it, y'all will notice that there's absolutely no bowl rinse on the walls of the urinal. So in my opinion, I think the previous generation design is much better than this, and it doesn't splash as much. Another thing too that they can improve is this entire top piece is hollow, so when you flush it, there's literally a rim jet directly underneath the flushometer, so it just shoots really aggressively. I feel like they could have made all of this kind of more solid inside and they just put a small hole that leads to all the rim jets like some of my other urinals, but they just hollowed it out into there, and the entire urinal is basically hollow and all the water kind of builds up in here. So even after the flush, there's a lot of water trickling out and it just kind of wasteful. So definitely not a horrible design, but I feel like American Standard could do a lot better. So yeah, enough talking. Let me give you all a flush. I have it at pretty much the perfect pressure to flush it, but again, this thing is so hollow that it takes 2 flushes to properly flush, and this is also on an American Standard piston flushometer, and it doesn't work properly, which is really sad. And by that I mean it doesn't flush this urinal properly, even though they're both American Standard. But and here's the logo, just in case y'all were interested. Yeah, here's a flush. As y'all can see, the siphon jet on this one, it points slightly up, and all that water movement is the extra water from inside the urinal draining out, and it's just not very well thought, I guess you could say, well thought of. I definitely think they could have put more detail into making this, but it's okay. It works for the most part, and I'm trying to set my tripod up here. Let me give you all another flush, and then I'll do some overpowered flushes. It actually sprays everywhere when it's overpowered, but here is another flush. So this flushometer isn't horrible, but if I turn down the pressure just a little bit more, it won't flush properly unless I flush it right after a flush, because the urinal has to be full of water. But here's another flush with weaker pressure. As y'all can see, it just doesn't work. Now I'm gonna go ahead and turn the pressure all the way up and give y'all another flush, just so y'all can see how overpowered this is. I'm just gonna scoot back a tiny bit, change the angle of my light here, and here's a very overpowered flush. So overall, doesn't have a bad flush. Again, I think the previous generation Allbrook has a much better flush. Let me do another flush at this angle so y'all can see it overflow. Even with all that pressure, it still has troubles washing the walls. I wish this is one of those urinals that would siphon after the flush ends, so it's not continuously flushing. But let me just go ahead and turn the pressure back down, and I'll give you all more of a close-up flush. Here we go. Nothing too special about this urinal. These are very common, and I see them in a lot of public places, and there's a lot of them on YouTube, so I'm not going to spend too much more time flushing it, as they aren't super interesting in my opinion. But overall, it's an okay urinal. I feel like American Standard could have done better, but it's not bad. So I've seen worse. But yeah, really hope y'all enjoyed this video. If you did, please like, subscribe, leave y'all's comments down below, and I will see y'all in my next video. Bye.